Good morning. It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see changes, we have to make changes to our own energy first. And that's what we're here to do today, because today is the day that we're going to remove obstacles. Oh, our favorite day. Let's get started. I think we're going to start with divine masculine because tomorrow Friday. God, it's going to be one of these mornings. Friday, we're going to do release and rebuild, and she gets to go first. So they didn't have cards showing today. So here we go. Top of the deck. Headspace and heart space, we're using the Wild Unknown Tarot in the headspace and the Tattoo Tarot in the heart space. We have divine masculine energy surrounding his obstacle. Right now, he is in the Father of Cups energy, which is one that is such a lovely place to be. He's loving, kind, caring, compassionate. But he's very quiet. This is the strong, silent type. He just does not communicate. The Five of Cups in reverse in the heart space, we're seeing a feminine who's extremely sad. In this particular card, she's not looking at the spilled cups. She's got her eyes closed and she's crying. And there are these two cups here, but she's actually really not paying attention to anything right now. She's just kind of gone within and is focusing inward and on her grief. And she's not seeing what awaits her in her future. So what's blocking divine mask, or what's the energy surrounding what his obstacle right now, is that he has no way to reveal to divine feminine what her future holds. That's very optimistic. He has no way to express this to her. And the thing that is blocking him from expressing this is the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the World in the heart space. So this is his obstacle. The Four of Pentacles is about having a solid financial foundation in the material. And it's a card about external validation, having the things that are in the physical material represent you. It can be about your image. And the World is about completing cycles. It's, of course, everything that composes what you desire to have around you, like your world, all the things that you desire. In this image that I chose today, or the deck that I chose today, rather, which has this image in it, divine masculine's world seems to be a divine feminine. And there are ram's horns on her head here, surrounding a pine cone and a rose. So we've got enlightenment, we've got inner eye, we've got a laurel wreath, peace, and then the rose, we have love, romance. So there's a stubbornness that's coming from this energy. A stubborn... There could be... Good morning, Lena. There could be this... I'm just trying to feel into it, because usually when we see the Four of Pentacles in reverse, it's telling us to let go of something. And his obstacle is letting go. Then we're looking at letting go of cycles, letting go of the repetitive cycles he's having with divine feminine. And the source of those cycles is this external validation. This could also be that divine feminine's... Oh, okay. Interesting. So if the energy surrounding divine masculine's obstacle is his inability to express to divine feminine their future, because her eyes are closed and she's just she's just focused inward. She has too much grief about the experience of not being able to be in this physical union. So if the energy is he's not found a way to show her what she has to be optimistic about, his obstacle is then divine feminine needing external validation in order to feel like she can close this cycle with the masculine. So his block is divine feminine needs me to express in this certain material way, like, phone call, personal meeting, and she stubbornly demands external validation for the relationship. And this is his obstacle. How can I give this feminine a future where we can have where we've released our attachment to what others think about us, or I've released my attachment to that, so that I can have her be present in my life in the way that she needs to be in order for her to feel like whole, right? Okay. So where did this block originate? In the headspace, we have the 10 of swords, or the 10 of swords. No, the 10 of cups. Gosh. All right. More coffee. It's going to be a day. I can tell. You know when you're just loopy sometimes, and it's also cloudy, which is so weird here. So it's just a weird day already. 10 of cups in reverse and the Knight of Swords. And so how interesting that this block has originated from what is in the heart space, this desire to move fast and bring about the fulfillment of happiness. Okay. So divine masculine backed himself into a corner. We have this horse in this image that actually is two-headed. And one head is looking in this direction and one is looking forward. So there's almost a chariot-like energy that we're referencing here, but a two-headed horse that's not aiming in the same direction is going to pull you off course. I think divine masculine had two feminines, and he moved too swiftly toward the divine feminine before releasing another energy. And he communicated to divine feminine about their happiness before he could give it to her. So it has always been this like tantalizing, just out of reach, potential future. And so now she's like, listen, I don't care what the fuck you tell me. You've been telling me shit forever and nothing is happening. So I'm not even really paying attention to your signs, or I don't even know what you mean, because what I thought you mean has never been what you meant. So I'm not even listening anymore or looking. Like I it's so difficult for me. And it's because divine masculine moved too quickly to show divine feminine what he wanted to give her before he could ever really give her anything like that. And he did that out of fear because he didn't want to lose her to someone else in the meantime, while he was cleaning up all of his messes and and closing out his cycles and dealing with his need for external validation, etc. How is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? Oh, yikes. The 5 of Swords upright and the 5 of Swords in reverse. Can't make that up, folks. Wow. How this is manifesting is there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of battling, and there's, on the one hand, in the headspace, a feeling of just feeling extremely defeated. Like you've really hurt yourself. You've split yourself into two. And then we're ending up, I'm seeing that it's buffering. I don't have a whole lot of control over that, unfortunately. So I do apologize if it's not that great today. So the Five of Swords, upright and in reverse. This is this feeling of complete defeat, just having hurt yourself by not making a decision, right? Here's one decision. Here's another decision. No decision was made. And so you're really just hurting yourself. And in the heart space, this desire to try to rectify the situation and not be defeated. But look at the positioning of the swords in this card. Here we have the Three of Swords here, one sword on this staircase and one here. So this is a decision between two. This is three swords. This is like heartache. And then again, two swords. So we've got something where it was like, this is a damned if you do and damned if you don't energy, right? And again, the two-headed horse and the happiness that is in reverse, because until you've made this decision, you're at an impasse. So the silence right now is this impasse, this difficulty with decision making. This is really holding Divine Masculine back. All right. What will help him remove this block? We have the Devil card in reverse and the Three of Swords in reverse. So healing our addictions, releasing any kind of karmic energy that's keeping us in bondage or codependent, taking our focus off of the heartache and the heartbreak that was caused, obsessive fixation on, whatever's going on, that impasse feeling, the battling, this. Remember, the swords are our thoughts. The swords are not truly implements of violence. These are our violent thoughts against self that cause us to refuse to make choices. When the Three of Swords is in reverse, this gives us a chance to heal. When the Devil card is in reverse, this gives us a chance to release the hold that this addiction has had over us. So Divine Masculine has had some kind of addiction or bondage to some kind of a very toxic energy. So don't jump to the conclusion when you hear that this toxic energy is this person and who you don't like, who's influencing him and all this noise, because it doesn't, first of all, it's probably not true. And second of all, it doesn't even matter what the source of the toxic energy is. Toxic energy is simply, there is a wound Divine Masculine has that is filled with pus and needs to be drained and cleaned out and bandaged and allowed the time to heal. And addictions, it doesn't matter the substance you're addicted to. We have a tendency to choose a substance and shame people more than others. Like if you're addicted to alcohol, fine. If you're addicted to crack, that's a different thing, right? We have like levels of addiction that are acceptable. All addiction is the same. It doesn't matter if you're addicted to binging shows. You're like, oh, that's harmless. Is it? How is it harmless? How is it more? There are things that are clearly toxic and kill you faster than others, but addiction is a slow suicide because it's a consistent ignoring of our needs. It's a fixation on something outside of ourselves that causes us to turn away from our connection to ourselves. So what will help him is truly healing these addictions, truly healing his broken heart. He was betrayed. Most likely he was betrayed in childhood. And then he repeated this pattern with people that he pulled into his life so that he could fix the wound. That's why we have the same experiences over and over. We're like, why does this keep happening to me? Because you have to heal the source of the wound that is needing you to cycle, right? Cycle through this experience. Who or what should I release from my past to move on? We have the Hanged Man in reverse, and we have the Page of Swords in reverse. Divine Masculine has a nasty habit of suspending himself and then watching and waiting to see what's going to happen. While he's doing that, he's draining the connection because he puts a lot of pressure on the connection. He literally suspends himself within the separation. He finds ways to emphasize separation, even though he's trying to create union. What it does is create an emphasis on the separation, so that Divine Feminine is like, I can't bear this anymore. I can't even look anymore. I can't even see it. The Page of Swords is a card that's about looking. It's about curiosity. It can be about spying. It can be about looking at social media all the time. It can be about not being brave and being kind of a coward and just staying on the sidelines and just seeing what's going to happen and letting your whole life happen to you. So this is a really big issue for Divine Masculine, because he can't necessarily see the solid foundation, and because he doesn't want others to see who he truly is. He just sits there and waits, oh, maybe Divine Feminine is going to figure out how to make this work. Good luck with that, Divine Masculine. Divine Feminine's already figured out how to make stuff work. She can't manifest for you, though. So if you don't know how to make your stuff work, then you both can't make stuff work together. So there's also the potential that there is a feminine energy, somebody who's very immature, that is vampiric, that is draining, that takes the energy from others. And she could also be addicted to watching him. It could be the toxic energy that's constantly watching him. And he's worried about being seen by this energy. But the problem with that is that at some point, this energy is going to see. And there's no opportune time for you to take ownership and accountability for your actions that would cause you to have a fear about being seen. What can I learn from this current pause? We have the 9 of Pentacles in the head space and the 7 of Swords in the heart space. This is interesting because this is a card about sneaking, about wearing a mask, about hiding, about getting away with things. It's about surprises, and it's also about strategy. So basically, you're learning to navigate the difficulty, the obstacles that you caused from your hiding, from your trickery. You're learning to now have to navigate that very difficult minefield in order to protect what it is that you were trying to get away with. So you're learning basically how to carefully get away with having what it is that you desire. And you're also, I think, learning the difference between Divine Feminine being single and having and being abundant and protecting that, and your worries, fears, and anxieties about her cheating. So this is what you're learning. You're learning to process your own energy about how you behaved and about how feminines have behaved towards you. Because the 3 of Swords is indicating that you've had betrayals in the past. You're learning that your divine feminine is protected, that this energy, she's not going to engage in this energy, but you have to figure out how to be comfortable with her single and able to go into any type of relationships and not feel like she's cheating on you because you haven't been able to end this cycle and come in for her. So you're learning all of these lessons that divine feminine had to learn while she's been waiting for you in your own tricky energy. What can I look forward to once this obstacle is removed? Oh, we have the Five of Cups in reverse and the Page of Cups. So we've got the Five of Cups, which was already starting out this whole energy and what was in your heart space, what you wanted. You wanted divine feminine to be able to be optimistic about the future. If you can remove this obstacle of being concerned about what the world thinks about what you desire, then you can give what divine feminine stubbornly is needing. And you know what? Divine feminine has a right to stubbornly insist upon external accountability. And the Page of Cups is new love. So if you can no longer be focusing on the past, the sadness, the things that, the pain that has been caused to you throughout your romantic endeavors in your lifetime, and probably from the energy that you experienced growing up, and you can focus on the true love that is here, the new love that is here, and the abundance and prosperity that that promises, you'll be able to have what you desire. But you have to release that fear of what the world is going to think about it and about how you achieved it, about what you did to achieve what it is that you wanted. This, your divine feminine, basically. You have to get over how people are going to know that this is what happened. You cheated. You cheated because you came in before you were fully able to bring about a union. You were involved in another situation, right? And that's why now you have all these fears about divine feminine doing that. Okay. Divine feminine, let's look at you. A general energy surrounding what blocks divine feminine from coming into union. We are getting in the headspace, the field tarot. We are getting the Five of Swords in reverse. Yep, that's right. We did get 3 decks giving us the Five of Swords. And divine masculine's heart space is in complete union with divine feminine's headspace. There is the energy of defeat, but really, really not wanting to be defeated. And divine feminine's heart space, we have the Muse of Pentacles, which from the Muse tarot is the King of Pentacles type of an energy, but it's only feminine. We have a feminine that's ascending the staircase towards this distant, it looks like paradise. There's prosperity, love, abundance here. The pentacles in this deck are represented by roses frequently. And so the general energy is divine feminine is normally, I would say, not wanting to be defeated. But I think what she's really struggling with is not feeling defeated about her ability to ascend into a physical material union with a masculine energy. She's really trying not to feel defeated about this process of actually seeing masculine show up. Her block is Judgment in reverse in the headspace and the Four of Wands in the heart space. Now, Judgment in reverse can be about being unawakened, and it's definitely about releasing harsh criticism or being very intimidated by reconciliation, or not being able to forgive, having issues with forgiveness. So Divine Feminine's block is likely a combination of all of those layers. Primarily, it's that she really does have a difficult time believing in the reflection, believing in, because the Four of Wands also has twin flame relevance because it's got that 11-11. And then we're seeing this mirrored reflection here. So she has a hard time really fully believing in this story. She's like, okay, like we're meant to be together, whatever, but it feels like it's never going to happen. Like maybe twins never come together. Like maybe, I won't be able to see this union. Maybe this won't be reflected back to me after all. So she needs to awaken to the truth of sacred union. The other thing is she's not quite awakened to how there already is union. There already is unconditional love because she's not seeing a physical manifestation. Look at the color of where she's going to. It's just like this card, but she's already there in her heart space and she just can't even tell that she's there. So this is her block. Where does this originate? This is the Three of Pentacles in reverse in the headspace, or wealth. And it happened here, folks. The Five of Swords upright, which means, yes, all four of my decks spit out the Five of Swords today. 2 of them upright and 2 of them in reverse. When that happens, I'm just astonished. Divine Feminine's block originated in the defeat that she feels in regards to ever being able to work together in the 3D with this masculine energy. This has never happened before. So she feels completely defeated by it now. There has always been too many parties. There have always been decisions that aren't made, crossroads and impasses. This has always been how it has been in the past. So Divine Feminine's knowledge that she's been unable to get this to work, to ground this, to work collaboratively with this masculine energy is the thing that's making her focus on this block right now. Of feeling like this connection is, that she's wrong about the connection, that it won't happen, that she is, that she doesn't really understand what it means to be in sacred union because nothing is happening, because she's at that impasse. She can't see this obstacle being removed. So how is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? Jesus. The Five of Pentacles in the headspace and the Six of Wands in the heart space. This is interesting because this is a card of success, but Divine Feminine's all by herself, right? The Five of Pentacles is about destitution, poverty, begging, receiving nothing but breadcrumbs, lack mentality, financial issues, lack of love, being left out in the cold. So this block that she has, which is this inability to like really truly be awakened to the union that is present in this moment, makes her feel left out from the success that she is actually enjoying on her own. She's not even enjoying the obstacles she's overcome that don't have anything to do with the masculine energy. I mean, they have everything to do with the masculine energy, but he's not showing up. She's like, I made it through this 5 of Wands. I unblocked myself, and still I'm alone, and still I'm outside, and still I'm sitting here. Why? Why am I still getting breadcrumbs? When I'm being told by this divine masculine that we've got success, right? Remember, he told her this much too soon. And I know why, because I have been able now to start relating this to my own experience with my child who lives on the East Coast. We have wanted to live together for many years, but I have been struggling financially to be able to do that, primarily because my ex was financially abusive. And so it's like this vicious cycle that goes on. And I tell my son, hey, maybe we can do this and that and the other thing. And we can have happiness this way. But I can't give it to you yet. But we can't, but I'm working on it. Like, it's going to happen. So my son has his hopes up all the time. Like, oh, it's going to happen, and he knows, he sees me working on it. But he's still disappointed every time that I can't give him what he wants, what he needs. And it's not that I'm an asshole. Like, I'm trying to figure it out, right? So divine feminine has to have the same sensitivity to this. Divine masculine has told her about this happiness before he can give it to her because he wants to give it to her so much. That's the two heads of the horse, right? One is like, listen, we need to charge forward and tell the truth. And the other is like, yeah, but we actually have to go fix this other thing first before we can get there. And the masculine is like, just go, just tell her. And it makes everybody feel defeated because nothing is happening, because even though there's this implied success that's happening, there's still an actual lack of love physically expressed. It is spiritually here, and that's the part that divine feminine has to awaken to. She has to come to a place where she can accept that in this moment right now, without physical union, the love that is here is sufficient for her to feel good enough about herself to do everything that she wants to do and tells herself that she's going to do when she's in union. So let's look at what will help her remove this block. We have the 6 of Swords, which is coming up from the 5 of Swords, right? In the reverse. And we have the 9 of Swords in reverse, or the 9 of Voices, as it is called in the Muse Tarot. I do sense a divine feminine who's not sleeping well. That was actually the song that came up. It's like, I'm not sleeping, and I'm not sleeping well. I'm not sleeping well at all. I'm waking up a lot. It's really weird. My schedule is so weird. I usually can go to bed between like 11 and 12 and wake up between like somewhere between 5 and 7. And lately it's just not been working out like that. I don't know. It's like a weird disjointed thing. So there's sleepless nights going on for divine feminine. So getting good sleep is something that I think we should all aim for here. The 6 of Swords in reverse is about being uncertain about where we're headed. And it's about really learning our lessons, really, really learning them, understanding that the struggles, the things that have been difficult, those are the things that are helping us move on. The fears and anxieties that we have been facing, even though we don't know what's going to happen when we take those risks and face them, this is what helps us move to that next phase, which is the thing that divine feminine is having difficulty seeing. She's having trouble seeing how she's going to be able to move into the next phase. I'm also strongly feeling that this is a call for divine feminine to not run. Do not run right now because of the things that you're afraid of. Release the urge to run away from the masculine energy. Face the situation head on. Express your feelings. Express how you feel, whether that's in a journal or to a friend, if you cannot communicate directly to the masculine. But don't run away from the things that you're afraid of. And just try to, just be like, well, this isn't working out, so I'm going to like head for this other shore. Because that's the pattern that you're cycling in, right? So who or what should I release from my past to move on? We're getting the Sun in reverse. I rarely get this card from this deck. And the Queen of Voices, which is the Queen of Swords. So there's a few different layers here. The Sun in reverse is about not being able to really enjoy our happiness, because I think with this Queen of Swords, we're thinking it to death. We are determined to see things a certain way. The divine feminine energy in her Queen of Swords, she's discerning, she's intelligent, she's strategic, right? She uses her mind, she uses her head, she conquers her emotions. The Sun in reverse can also be about having inner child wounds that cause us to be very defensive or really analytical, kind of breaking our happiness apart into little pieces and being like, needing every little piece to be there in order for us to feel secure enough to really enjoy what we have. If you ask yourself, what is it that you want from the masculine energy? There's not a lack of love. So why is the physical manifestation so important to you? If you have this unconditional love that is there no matter what, whether that person is in a relationship or not, whether that person is on the other side of the world or not, whether they are able even to express to you directly or openly or not, but from now until you draw your last breath, that person is connected with you eternally. Why isn't that satisfying enough to you? Because the reason why that doesn't satisfy you is why you are overthinking what already should just be joy. You started out loving somebody and being like, all I want is to love them and for them to love me. Well, they do. They do. They love you and you love them. And that's all you wanted, right? But it wasn't. You wanted a physical manifestation because you think the physical manifestation will make you happy. But you're wrong. If you aren't just happy because of the love that is there, no matter the physical expression, you will not feel happy when it is physically expressed. I promise you. So you have to release this idea that you think you know what you need, and embrace that you might have already received what you need, but you just don't take any joy in it because you are analyzing it and comparing and contrasting it to your ego's idea, right? The ego's idea. The fear, the anxiety. What will help us release this, right? Oh no, this is what can I learn from this current pause, rather. Sorry, I'm in the Empress spread in my head. What can I learn from this current pause? We have the 7 of Cups in the headspace and the 8 of Pentacles or 8 of Materials in the heart space. Well, we can learn about all of the options, all of the opportunities, all of the abundance that we are able to create for ourselves through our own mastery of our material. So when we figure out what our passions are and start to create that in our material world, with the work that we do, we create all these options. We're not bound to one single option. We have many. We have many. And it helps us learn how to choose and to rely on the divine to help us be discerning so that we're not relying on our ego's fears, but the divine to show us which cup is really going to be full enough to express what we've been put here and called here to do. So we're learning mission work, and we're learning about all of the things that we have available to us to make us have a sense of fulfillment right now. Divine Feminine, you got the Six of Wands, which is that public acknowledgement, and the Sun card, which is auspicious whether it's up in reverse or whether it's upright or in reverse. So you shouldn't be feeling this block about celebration. You are just not wanting to celebrate because you can't celebrate with that partnership that you thought you had to have in order to really be able to show up and be and do the things you wanted to do in the world. But you're learning that no, you don't need that partnership to do that. You can actually give yourself these options and opportunities. And it's up to you to choose the path. There's no one controlling you anymore, which is what you've longed for a long time. But now you don't feel as happy because it doesn't look the way you thought it would. What can I look forward to once this obstacle is removed? We have the 10 of Cups in reverse, which Divine Masculine also had over on his side. And we're getting the Empress in reverse. So this is interesting because the Empress in reverse is a card about waiting. It's about gestating. It's about having all of this abundance and prosperity around you and just kind of kicking back and relaxing, letting things come to you. It can be an energy that when it's in its reverse, it can be about being overbearing and being overprotective, etc. And the 10 of Cups is, of course, your spiritual fulfillment. It's all of those fantasies, dreams, and everything that you have been cultivating. And it's the fulfillment of all of those things. So to see this in reversal and say, well, how do I look at this? This is what I'm looking forward to. What you're looking forward to is no longer waiting for outside things to help you assess your own happiness. And harmony will be coming in, but it won't be coming in because another energy is physically manifesting. You'll be bringing yourself this harmony by allowing yourself to receive everything that you have been hoping for in the form that it's meant to come to you in. So you won't be resisting this happiness as much because you're not sitting there waiting for it to appear to look exactly like you think it's supposed to look. You're open to the idea that the essence of what you've asked for is what is truly coming to you. And that you don't have to wait for this to look the way you thought. You can take it right now as it is and understand, I have the love that I set out to receive. I have it. Now I can move on. Now I can move on to my next opportunity, whatever that is. And that doesn't mean it's a different person. It might mean that it's not about a person for a minute. Maybe it's not about that at all. Maybe it's about this project that you're doing. Maybe it's about this healing experience that you want to have. Maybe it's about a trip to Belize. Like, there are so many things we have going on in our life. We don't have to be just focused on whether or not the masculine energy is going to come forward or not. It doesn't matter. The masculine energy is already here. It is already confirmed inside of us. All right, let's look at the oracles. We'll go back to the Divine Masculine. What is blocking you, Divine Masculine, from sacred sexual union right now? We are getting the 7 of Cups in reverse. So honestly, he doesn't have a lot of options, but it's because he's not giving himself a lot of options. He's not looking around at other choices right now. He's not coming into sacred union because he is focused on himself and what he desires, and he's not looking at all the potential possibilities for union right now. And this will be the thing that is going to help him unblock this energy of not looking around at a bunch of different options, which is good. Like, this is a good thing for him because he's wanting to ground the union. He's wanting to accept the cup that's being offered from the feminine. And so what will help him is, this is coming from the Prisma visions. This is one of the only Four of Cups I know that has two cups up right here, one cup fallen down, and another cup here in front of his feet. So what will help him is consistently focusing on his honestly, his sexual fantasies, on the union he wants to create, putting down any thoughts of other energy or his own selfish needs. This having sexual union being about pleasing both the masculine and feminine energy and not being interested in other parties. That's definitely something that's going to help unblock him right now. He wants to be able to choose the feminine. All right. So, Divine Masculine. Your Addict card is in reverse, and seeing as the thing that would help you right now was the Devil card in reverse, I think this is probably very important for you. You are having trouble right now recognizing and confronting your addictive behavior. You've been compromising your integrity and honesty, and you've been allowing an addictive pattern to have authority over your spirit. You need to confront these addictions. Remember, these addictions are not necessarily to substances. They often are, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is a substance. Simply being constantly checking on the feminine energy through social media or whatever, that's addictive energy too. Constantly doing the same exact things to try to get her attention, the breadcrumbing, all those things. Those are all, that's an addictive pattern too, because you have trouble letting go of the divine feminine. It's like you can't give her what she needs and what you know you want to give her and what she needs, but you can't let her go. That pattern has to end. You have to shit or get off the pot, man. So recognize and confront whatever ways you're being addictive. Now, you're getting a lot of guardians today, which usually means you need them. So sleep in reverse coming up. We got the Judgment card in reverse and sleep in reverse in this reading today. So there's issues with sleeping and there's issues with being awakened. You are not currently awakened to some behavior that you're needing to confront. That's that addiction energy. You're being called to pray right now. And this is also that card that's like, when two or more are gathered in my name kind of a card. So there's a call for you to try to spend some time with the feminine energy in whatever way that you can, even if it's just in meditation or if you have a way to be doing the same thing at the same time. Try to engage in that. And then we have the Marriage card in reverse with Saint Catherine. So I'm seeing that there's some, it's interesting because for divine feminine energy, we have this unawakened energy about for Four of Wands, which is a marriage energy. And it's like maybe she's unawakened to some of the commitment issues she has because she's a reflection, of course, of the masculine energy who is needing to pray and get some more enlightenment about the commitment issues that he has. He's maybe not quite awake to the fact that this marriage that he does want, he's not quite there yet. Like, he's not quite there. He's just released another marriage that had betrayal in it, that had toxic energy in it. And there's fear and anxiety, right? Divine feminines, fear and anxiety about moving to the next place. look at the cards. They look similar, even though they're from incredibly different decks, because we're looking at this similar energy. Everyone is afraid. That's why the Five of Swords is here. We've had past marriages fail. We've had decisions we didn't make. We've had standstills. We've cut each other. We've wounded each other. We've fought. We've battled. So it's time to acknowledge that all of that was stalling tactics for the core issue, which is being afraid of commitment, because we don't often keep our commitments to ourselves. If you have a commitment to get up and meditate and do yoga and feel good in your body and eat nourishing foods, and, you know, you don't have to be perfect at your commitment. But when you're not perfect at your commitment and you throw it away completely, that's about protecting yourself from your success. So you both have to face these issues, and you're being told that you really do need to face these issues together, which means you don't have to wait to come into union. You're blessed and protected. These are saints and angels here, right? You don't have to wait to come into union to figure this out. In fact, you might only be able to figure this out together, because it's your consistent showing up for each other and communicating your fears and anxieties and working through them that will help you to believe in this marriage, in this union. Of course, you can't figure out how to do sacred union when you're all alone. You can only figure out your own relationship to sacred union, which is what being alone is about, but you don't have the collaborative sort of experiences you need. You're getting 2 Universe Has Your Back cards. The first one says, the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. And the presence of love will always cast out fear. Kyle, Texas. I'm getting a phone call from Kyle, Texas. If Kyle has any meaning to somebody, I've never seen that before, okay? So the moment that I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome. So that is, how do we embrace our peace within and surrender the outcome? We're being told in this card, the presence of love casts out fear. So what did I say? I said Divine Feminine was having a hard time because she wasn't just satisfied with the presence of love. The presence of love was not enough for her, which means that the ego is still in charge. Because the ego is the only thing that needs more than love. Because the ego is there to convince us that love isn't enough. No, we need material things too. If we didn't have that feeling, we wouldn't try to do stuff in the material. So we have to work with our ego, right? To have a fun time on the planet. That's why we came here. The ego is like this program that's written inside of us that we forget about this. And then we learn this again, and that's about the whole journey. We're like, oh, and then we have a great time. And that's the point. That's what's fun. It's like the mission we picked. I have no idea why. Why didn't I go for like the lazy river version of this journey where I was just, but I didn't. So Divine Masculine, understanding that embracing peace and surrendering looks like focusing on the love that is already there. Then the universe can finish this job. The reason why this isn't getting finished is because you all keep trying to finish it. You're like, gotta come into union. There's a bunch of shit I need to do. Is there? The only shit you need to do is to get into the presence of love. How do I do that, you say, if my person isn't here? Oh, that's easy. Love yourself. Then you're in the presence of love. The other person is in the presence of love, and then you're like magnets. This is a time for healing, and I'm laughing because I wasn't going to use the Moonology deck. I was trying to use less oracles today just because I want to use this tarot of the doors for the obstacle spread, because I feel like the doors opening and closing is appropriate for the obstacle spread. So I added a deck, and because I added a deck, I needed to subtract one just because I didn't want to read for like 4 hours today. So I considered not putting the Moonology deck, and I actually skipped over it in my like OCD ritual I have of opening all my cards and whatever. But then at the last minute, I thought, no, I feel like I should still have the Moonology deck today because of this one card that's in there that when I see it, if I see it, I'll know. And I'm going to use that deck. Here it is. The Blue Moon card. And it's emphasized. And you know what this card says? It says, believe in the impossible. I haven't seen it in a minute. And I usually get annoyed when I see it. But not anymore. I wanted to see it today. That's why I didn't let that deck get out of here. This has been a time for healing because it's so difficult to believe in the impossible. The healing is what allows us to do that. And we can't believe until we do the healing we need to do. This healing, if it's not done, is always going to allow those wounds to open, and those wounds are festering. And what they carry in them is doubt. Because they're this reminder that, nope, this didn't work out. We got hurt before, remember? So you have to allow for that healing to take place in order to have this very, very rare event in your life of union. Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. What'd I just say? This healing that takes place literally changes you, transforms you so that you can be new. Are you the same person you were 10 years ago? I sure as fuck am not the same person. I look younger than I did 10 years ago. I'm not younger. But I have had a deep, deep healing. Crow spirit. Co-create. Divine masculine. Co-create with spirit. This is magician energy. And it is about collaborating with spirit. And we will look in the book to get more detailed message about it. And then we're also getting this Page of Cups energy, which is interesting because it has those, this reminds me of a Six of Pentacles, like a reciprocity kind of a feeling. We also have a rabbit here. There's like fertility. This is that new love. We saw the Page of Cups coming in for masculine already, and it's here again. So let's look at these messages together. Crow spirit first, which is number 17. And it was the oracle message, which is, as you look around you, can you sense the magic that pulses through the world? Have you witnessed how every thought can become a thing? How every intention can call the universe into action as the sacred laws shape what you experience? The universe works in perfect order. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with spirit, you will want to crow with delight, feeling the excitement and wonder of being in harmony with something much larger than yourself. Crow spirit says you are right on target now to see your dreams magically come into being in the visible world. The laws of abundance, compensation, frequency, and praise are operating in your favor now. Remember to be grateful and praise what is yours, even if it is still coalescing into form, still residing in the invisible realms of co-creation. No matter what area of your life you're concerned with now, what you hope for is on its way, for spirit is your co-creation partner. All right, so that message coming out with this Tarot of Divine Page of Cups energy, which I know, I'm pretty sure that this is a story about like, it's like the god of same-sex relationships, I think. Hang on, I have to find it. Where are the cups? There they are. Yes, it's a Filipino mythology, Bakunawa and the Seven Moons. The Page of Cups is connected to his emotions and expresses himself wholly with youthful purity. In this card, one of the 7 young moon siblings plays with Tuer Shen, the Chinese god of same-sex relationships, who ties the red thread of fate that connects lovers. So when this is in reverse, it can be issues with obsession and immaturity and childhood problems. Okay. So divine masculine's feelings about co-creation, there's something in that are coming from his childhood. So he might have had a really overbearing caregiver who might have dictated his choices, how he moved about in the world, and had a lot of influence throughout his life. And there's a sense here that he's not really learned exactly how to express with emotional maturity love and communication about love, because it wasn't something that he saw a lot of when he was younger. And there's a fear there that because he didn't see it, that it's going to be difficult for him to give it. But he has to remember that he's not doing this love by himself. He's co-creating with the ultimate power of love. He doesn't have to know how to express it. He just has to allow it to move through him. He just has to will it and be less concerned about how he brings it in. All right, Divine Feminine. Let's look at your cards. Okay, so this is where you are blocked from your sacred sexual union. We have the maiden energy in reverse. This is so funny because this is literally being a virgin, right? Being a maiden. And this is two-sided. You are blocking sexual union because you're not a maiden anymore, and you experienced traumatic things sexually in your life that kept you from ever feeling this innocence in regards to sexuality. It's always been something that had with it a certain amount of I just heard degrading elements to it that make it seem frightening and forbidden. And that in and of itself can be tantalizing, but for you, it represents this obstacle because you're longing for a purity there that is about intimacy and emotional bonding and creation. And when you look around at sexual experiences that you've had and other sexual experiences, you feel very jaded about it. And you're also being virginal. So you're in celibacy and you're not experiencing sexuality by choice. And you're telling yourself it's because you want to be loyal, but it's really because you're protecting yourself from that loss of innocence. Like you feel a certain amount of safety and security, and you don't want to lose that feeling. What will help you remove this block? The Lovers. This is plural. Having more than one person as a potential for sacred sexual union. Now, this does not mean having a lot of partners, because personally, I don't know that you can have sacred sexual union with a lot of partners. I think this is something that happens with healed and healthy individuals, but it is allowing the potential for more than one individual to represent this energy for you. So if you want to come into sacred union and you want to face these fears that are keeping you from feeling like you can express this, you need to, at this point in time, unless the divine masculine is ready and coming in, into that union, which this can also represent this here too, that the lovers, as they manifest and come into union, you will finally be able to release this fear, because you'll have that safe and secure relationship that's not potentially toxic, etc. So it can have that meaning too. But it's just being open to love. And also from lots of different, and just the intimacy itself, right? There's a kitten here. This is a very safe, intimate, almost like cute even, right? But cats are sexual energy, but this is a sweetness. There's a sweetness here. So feeling a little bit more sweetness about sexuality, I think, will help you as well. All right. You are getting the angel archetype in reverse, which is acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, or falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. But the light attribute is helping those in need with no expectation of return. So divine feminine, I think you're having a tendency to sort of feel like you've done everything right and you're, healed. And it's really this masculine energies problem. But what's really going on is that you feel you've done all these things for this energy, and that energy is not returned it back to you in the way that you expected, right? Hence the Queen of Swords. That's like, well, he's not making me very happy, because the way he's choosing to express to me is like not what I desire. So what you're finding out is you have the love you wanted, but you're not getting what you expected in return. You expected something in return, and it doesn't look like it, and it's making you feel dissatisfied. But you have to be in a space where you healed yourself, which allowed divine masculine to heal. And you did that because you love that energy and you just want that energy to be healed. So if you did all this work and healing and everything, and your masculine did all this work and healing, and he suddenly meets a soulmate, he's out walking and he's healed and he meets a soulmate on the street and is overcome with feelings of love for that person, and they connect, and then in order for you to truly be in that angelic realm, you would feel so much peace and joy that your healing journey that you are on with this masculine allowed him to find a soulmate that can bring him a healed, loving relationship. And the only reason that you feel resistance to that right now is because your ego is like, no, only I can do that. Only I am capable of doing that. But that is not true. That is not true. And if it's truly about love, then your heart feels joy when divine masculine experiences joy. And it is the same for divine masculine as well. And if you still feel jealous, you don't have to be ashamed. You just have to understand that jealousy is simply because you don't have the faith that that love is really there forever. You think that you need a physical expression of it in order to believe in it. And that's what needs to be healed, not the masculine's ability to express to you, but your ability to feel love without expression. You're having this learning experience right now. You are learning this lesson that I just talked about. You are called to help those in need with no expectation of your return. The return is the fact that you have the ability to help those in need. You ask for that and you're receiving it. You also got 2 of these cards from the Universe Has Your Back. You got, I'm unapologetic about what I desire, and I trust that what I focus on will grow. And through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. So you are desiring peace. If you focus on discontent, that will grow. If you focus on peace, that will grow. You desire peace. Focus unapologetically on peace. Don't let these stories of discontent take you from this space where you can see peace. Peace looks like what I just described. Divine masculine arrives at a place where he meets a soulmate and decides to go into sacred union. And you feel nothing but peace because you know that you have the same potential to meet a soulmate and to have your own healed, loving, connected union, everything you've always dreamed and more. You have peace because you know that whatever reflection divine masculine is in, you're there as well. And your ego doesn't feel torn. It doesn't feel like it's lost something. It feels like it's gained peace. What do you need to release? Probably any of the tension you just felt when you thought about divine masculine being in another partnership. I'm not saying that divine masculine is doing that. There's no indication of that. I just want you to understand that if you still feel a lot of discontent at the thought of that, if that makes your blood boil, if you still feel like this urgent feeling of loss, if that were to happen, then there's attachment that needs to be released. Remember, divine masculine's block, while it is his own fears, it's also about divine feminine's stubborn inability to release her attachment to the physical experiences she's had. Your mirror. So work on that you need to release. Ask those questions. You're getting Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, and Teacher. So turn to your sisterhood around you. Turn to the feminine energy around you right now. Focus on your friendships, your relationships with those around you. And believe in that power that you have of your own intuition as a mystic and a teacher, a priestess, a mystic, and a teacher yourself. Be devoted to that role. Because as you guide others, that's the other thing about that angel card. As you guide others, you bring your own peace because you're guiding yourself to the light when you guide others. It's like these readings. I could pull all these cards for myself in the morning and just look at my twin flame relationship. But whenever I tried to do that, I would not read it with any sort of detachment from my ego because I would constantly be allowing my fears and anxieties to pour into my own readings. It wasn't until I decided to read for others that I noticed that I would still get these really valuable messages about where the masculine and feminine energy was, but it wasn't attached to my ego because my ego wasn't invested in the story of the people that I was reading as much as it was in my own. And I had discernment in regards to other people because I don't have the negative associations with their, like the way that we are self-denigrating and etc. I don't have that when I'm reading for someone else. So focusing on others, focusing on their healing, that heals you. That's the whole journey. You're getting this again. Hawk Spirit, let Spirit be your guide. And this was the card that Divine Masculine actually used to speak to you during the Tell Me Everything spread that I did on Sunday, which I decided I'm going to do that spread regularly, at least once a week. So I'll be adding that into the 3 readings that I do every week. This is about this bigger picture, being able to hone in. I just saw 8:33 on the clock. Letting Spirit guide you through messages, paying attention to signs that are coming to you. And then you're getting the Ace of Cups from the Tarot of the Divine, which I don't think I've actually gotten the Ace of Cups yet. It's a pretty one. So this is pay attention to the signs, and then we're getting a cup of about like a cup of love, and a cup of self-love as well, I will say. And it says here, this is a Japanese myth, Matsuo Sake. The Ace of Cups marks a new beginning, a reason to drink and be merry, and to open up to subconscious feelings. Sake is a drink of the gods, bringing people closer to the spirit world. Happiness, love, intimacy, new emotions, and compassion. So pay attention to the signs, divine feminine, that celebration is here. You're the one that's having a hard time being awakened to the fact that there is love here to celebrate, because it doesn't look the way that you thought it would. So your advice is to really embrace, to really believe in the impossible, like Divine Masculine's card, that there is something to celebrate here, something significant. Pay attention to those signs. All right, let's close this reading out with the energy for both of you that you are in union in regards to. All right, you are getting for your sexual energy the 9 of coins in reverse, which looks like this. Let's separate. And the Knight of Wands in reverse. This is really clear. This is player energy. And the 9, oh, I'm sorry, this is the 6 of coins. I always do that when it is, like I always read the number upside down when it's in reverse. It's the 6 of coins, so it's a reciprocity card. But you are getting this player energy in reverse. So you're getting kind of the shadow side, which the Knight of Wands is a card of sexual energy. So in its shadow, this is somebody who is having a lot of partners. There's a lot of, it's like a focus on sexual energy. It's just sexual energy. And then the 6 of coins is about reciprocation. So I think that this is about withholding. Neither one of you wants to receive, neither one of you wants to be on the receiving end of player energy. So rather than engage in any sexual relationships at this time, you're withholding sexual energy from yourself. And both of you are actually doing this. You don't want to risk anything happening to the potential of coming into union. So you don't want to be on the receiving end of finding out that your person has been with someone else, because of the reasons that I was just saying when I was like, imagine your person is in a relationship and your ego is like, no, right? So because you're both in this place where you're like, I don't want to have to experience the way it will feel to know that while my masculine has been gassing me up, he's been like getting his dick wet. Or I don't want to know how it would feel that while I've been trying to make sure that Divine Feminine knows that this is our future while I'm trying to get these pieces together, that I find out that she's been getting her pussy pounded. So neither one of you wants that experience. So you don't want that reflected back to you. So you're like, okay, not having sex with anyone. Okay. I just want to get out of this fucking maiden energy. That's all I'm saying. My Leo is like, please, for the love of God, can your Venus and Virgo let go of this virginal bullshit? And my Venus and Virgo is like, no. All right. You are both in the light of the orphan child. So you are both experiencing independence based on learning to go it alone and conquering your fear of surviving. So you're no longer thinking that you need to have this other physical person in order to survive. You've really been able to liberate yourself from that. And you now know that you are your own reason for surviving. Your feelings of abandonment that have stifled maturation have dissipated, and you're no longer seeking inappropriate surrogate families. You're doing okay on your own. You've healed those wounds of the orphan child. You can see that you don't have to worry about being able to survive on your own. Okay, we got the Believe in the Impossible card, and now we have Christ with the Miracle card. So there is divine intervention that is happening right now in regards to the ending of these cycles. that have seemed impossible to end. It has been impossible to end these cycles, but now it is not, because you have the ultimate healer coming in and miraculously healing these wounds. So these things that have been obstacles, it's like in this reading, you can kind of just move on, because right now, these wounds, these obstacles are being healed completely on your behalf. I am a spirit having a human experience, and I am here to get closer to love. So I say frequently that it is not our mission to come into union, but it is our mission to understand love. And wanting to come into union is how we learn that lesson. Coming into union becomes sort of just the icing on the cake, because the cake is learning about sacred union and self. Adjustments are required for the both of you, and I think that's pretty clear. You need to really, really make this about what you already have and the gratitude for the experience you're having. This protection card is in reverse. This is call back your power, cut the cords, and soul retrieval. I think you've been protecting yourselves a little too much. And it's time to lower your defenses in regards to each other. There can be a call here to maintain boundaries with others in your life, but I really feel like this is more about you protecting yourselves. You both, one of you tells yourself you're protecting the other. I think masculine says, I'm protecting the feminine. The feminine says, I'm protecting myself, because the masculine's version of protecting me is actually pretty harmful. So there are needs to address the appropriateness of protecting someone from something they haven't asked you to protect them from, which is invasive and violative. And the appropriateness of protecting yourself from the thing that you desire because of your fear that about how they've been protecting you, which is something that you've been desiring. Okay. Rewind. And try to see if you can understand that. Think about your boundaries. Make sure they're appropriate boundaries. I love this card. It's 42. Otter Spirit. You are never alone. It's so cute. And that is coming out with the Knight of Swords. We're getting that Knight of Swords again. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to read Otter Spirit because I don't get that one as often. Also, I noticed that you did not get protection messages today on the cards, and your protection card was in reverse. I feel like you are very protected right now. Like you don't need protection. There are not a lot of outside attacks coming in, things like that. Otter spirits. Like true friends, otters nurture each other and express their affection through touch. Actions such as holding hands and giving hugs offer reassurance that we are never really alone and that we are always cherished. Otter Spirit has appeared to remind you to experience and express friendship in a tangible and even tactile way. Communicate with your voice, your facial expressions, your gestures, and your actions, letting your love express itself beyond just the words you speak. Otter Spirit's message is that presence matters. So remember to be fully present with those you care about, helping them sense the love and affection and appreciation you have for them. Now is a time for a joyful celebration of the love in your life that expresses as friendship and companionship. Hug someone, touch their arm, or simply look into their eyes with your full attention, saying, I care, you matter. Make time for friendship. Otter Spirit promises that the moment you reach out, you will remember that you too have many who love and care about you. You are never alone and you are always loved. This coming out with the Knight of Swords to me is, because the Knight of Swords is swift and direct communication. This is an urgency to come into physical union. by command of your oracle cards today, which, okay, direct communication, physical touch. I saw a picture of my DM with his arm around somebody and his hand was touching her skin. And I was so fixated on that because I've never had that experience. It was so difficult not to feel jealousy, but it wasn't jealousy about the person. It was, why can't I experience that? There is an urgency here for physical touch. I can feel the ache of not having that right now. It's overwhelming. Almost makes me feel nauseous. All right. Now, this is really beautiful. So I want to close the reading today with these two cards from the Tarot of the Doors, because I feel like opening and closing is a good thing to end with for the energy of removing obstacles. The first card that is coming up is the door. It's so the way I'm going to look at it is there's either a door being opened or a door being closed, and we're going to look at that opening of that door and the closing of the door, etc. Here's what we got. The Eight of Cups, a wide open door, walking away, facing the obstacles that have kept us from being able to come into union, walking towards our higher calling, despite all of our fears about how difficult it will be to overcome that obstacle that's in front of us, right? So we are open to moving into this next phase, moving to a higher ground together, because this is the cards we're in union. And then here's where we're heading. The Ace of Cups. This new love. We already saw the Ace of Cups, Divine Feminine. And we saw the Page who carries that ace in the masculine energy. So a lot of this Ace of Cups energy, this is offering of love. And this is a family that has created a new life and blessed that life here in the material from the spiritual realm. This is the higher calling, to go towards this place where we create a divinely protected union that is able to bring new life into the world. And it does not have to be a physical baby. This can be the things we create, right? Music, art, paintings, writings. Here we go with the freaking helicopters. I hate them. And it's circling, so it'll probably be here for a while. There's probably a terrible criminal on the loose. Anyway, we're finishing up the reading anyway, so we don't have to listen to it anymore. Well, you don't, but this is a beautiful ending to this reading. Walking away from these obstacles, well, walking right towards the obstacle and overcoming it rather than running away from it, rather, brings us this ability to have new love in our lives, whether it is with this person that we have been waiting for specifically or with new energy because we've healed the wounds that have kept us attached to one individual, protecting ourselves from being able to experience love. So I hope this helped today and that you received a lot of insight. Thank you for being here with me. I shall visit you again on Friday for sure for the release and rebuild spread. There's a chance I might pop in tomorrow and do a Tell Me Everything spread. I don't know exactly what day of the week that's going to happen yet. So I could be there tomorrow, but I will definitely be on TikTok doing 3-minute mini check-ins 6 days a week. I actually did it yesterday. I tried like a different one, but I don't think I'm going to do that style because it was annoying. I typed. It was annoying. So I'm going to go back to the other style that I'm doing. But go ahead and find me on Pearl's Prayers for TikTok, and then pearlsprayers.com has all of my social media links for the music that I create and for all of the tarot services I have. I did put a new service in. There is I will do a recording for you of the Tell Me Everything spread. You can see that. It's a 15-minute reading, and then I send it to you. It's like one of the first options on my booking page. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and book that, and I will go ahead and do that reading for you. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you have a great day and that I shall see you again soon. Take care, everyone.